ready for the truth? Bring it on!
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Do you want the whole truth?
I don't think you're ready.
Governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people.
It's Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We're really glad you're here, right here on the AFR Talk Network. I'm Crane Durham. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. A lot to get to today. And then the top of next hour, Hans von Spakovsky talking Colorado baker willing to go to jail, state going inside the church in many ways, and interesting takes from the ACLU, among others topics. Interesting, yes. That's me saying, in essence, not that I don't agree with the ACLU, and rarely do, and they seem hypocritical. But I digress. We have to get to what took place today with the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Health and Human Services Secretary. You're not going to talk about the budget deal? I am at the bottom of the hour. Look, lot to get to. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hump day. You're over the hump. Great to be with you. But I really do want to get to this because it's important that we understand where things are. And they are related when it comes to the hearings today and what we've learned about the budget deal put together yesterday. You just heard about that from American Family News. That's why you have it locked in right here, AFR Talk. We go to an exchange, loaded word, between Representative Michael Burgess of Texas and Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius. Now, do you remember when we covered last week and the week before the discussion on not knowing if you're covered, if you've paid or not? Well, the issue did come up today in this exchange. Roll it.
Madam Secretary, based on current trends, it's likely that more individuals will have lost coverage on January 1 than will have gained it under the law. HHS released data this morning stating that approximately 364,000 Americans have selected a plan through a state or federal exchange. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Of these 364,000 Americans, do you know how many of those individuals will actually have coverage in effect on January 1, 2014?
Sir, once they pay their premium, they'll have coverage in effect.
So you don't know. These are the ones who've just selected a plan but haven't paid their first payment on their premium.
Some may have paid, some may not. We're giving you the enrollment numbers.
Some may have paid, some have not. They don't know. Giving the enrollment numbers. Here's the focus. They don't know if they qualify for subsidies. They don't know if the subsidies are going to get to the insurer. And the process is, in the words of the representative, well, I'll tell you, it's almost impossible. I've never seen a business where you can get to the point in the fundamental business transaction where you're going to make a payment and you can't do it. This is a flawed system. Now, Captain Obvious says, yes, of course it is. But we're seeing this front and center over and over again as we get notices, or people we know get notices. I get notice says, hey, you're going to have to find a new plan. Doesn't qualify. We got to move on. You can't keep your plan. And it highlights that point. So we'll talk more about this tomorrow with Chris Woodward, who's going to be joining us for Beat the Press in this very segment. Ed Henry asked about it today with the Deputy White House Press Secretary, and the answer, again, really not coming back with something because they can't. They don't know because the system's flawed, yet it's the law. And the numbers they tell us, it's like people who've gone to Amazon and put things in their cart and they're saying they're paid for. And then when they try to pay for it, well, the problem exists because We can go back and talk about the system back end not being built and all sorts of problems that have been detailed by the likes of our good friend Paul Howard of the Manhattan Institute. So just want you to know we're ahead of the game here, right here. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, bringing you something that was going to be covered. Now you have a better perspective of it. Has it been solved? No. Fireworks took place between John Shimkus, Representative, Illinois, and Kathleen Sebelius, Health and Human Services Secretary. We know that. Stop. But they do have a history. Now, Representative Shimkus has been through the mill and been round and round with HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius on Obamacare, whether it's abortion or double counting. What do you mean double counting? Well, I mean when they presented Obamacare to the CBO acts upon the assumptions that they are given. So you are programming the calculator, if you will. And in doing that, you can come out with a formula that hides double spending cuts in two programs. And John Shimkus exposed that. So if you cut one program, are you cutting the other? Which one is cut? Both. She had to admit that they were double counting the cuts. Pardon me. She did not like that. Now, you need a refresher. This is one of the key moments in an exchange in a previous hearing regarding the dishonesty of Obamacare, how it was sold, and being called out on it. Now, if you were to see a liberal congressman do this to a conservative HHS secretary advocating a conservative program, this would have been all over and played ad nauseum. Unfortunately, it doesn't get the coverage it deserves because it's such a gotcha moment. Not in a way of, hey, I'm really using tricks to get you. No, I've exposed your deception, and you're going to admit it now to the American people if they don't tune out, because every other question or questioner is looking to basically spew your propaganda when it comes to Obamacare. Keep in mind, propaganda is the word of choice there. Here is John Shimkus talking to Kathleen Sebelius in that hearing, exposing the double counting. Roll it.
When you mandate coverage, it's rolled directly on premiums. As in premiums increase, that's
on the call for that. I guess I would like cut number 8. Here we go. Roll it.
there is an issue here on the budget because your own actuary has said you can't double count. You can't count 500. They're attacking Medicare on the CR when their bill, your law, cut $500 billion in Medicare. Then you're also using the same $500 billion to what? Say you're funding health care. Your own actuary says you can't do both. So my simple question, I have 26 seconds left. What's the $500 billion cuts for? Preserving Medicare or funding health care law? Which is it?
Sir, the Affordable Care Act adds 12 years to the Medicare Trust Fund, according to every actuary, and the $500 billion represents a slowdown in the growth rate of Medicare over 10 years from what was projected at 8% to a growth rate
is it
of
Medicare? 6%. Is it using it to save Medicare, or are you using it to fund health care reform? Which one?
Both.
The gentleman.
So you're double counting. I yield back my time.
So he exposed it. Big deal. I'm going to post that actually during the break on the Facebook page, Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, American Family Radio. So this exchange got a bit testy because he felt he was getting the North Korean treatment of propaganda, state-run propaganda, where you ask a question and they keep repeating a talking point. John Shimkus is saying here, hey, look, the premiums, I've talked to the Illinois commissioner on insurance. You keep stating these benefits that you're offering are free. They're not. They go directly into the premium increase. And he's stating that, and he's looking for a little honesty from Kathleen Sebelius. Now, I don't care where you are with an R or D by your name, conservative or liberal. I hope and pray that you've accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Absolutely. But your politics, your business, that's right. But this show is called Nothing But Truth. And I do care, and I hope you care about the truth. Because Representative Shimkus is trying to get to the truth. And he's sick of the bunny stew that's being presented. And he had enough. And so, in this exchange on premiums, he's exposing the fact from his own insurance commissioner in Illinois. These premiums are being jacked up because of the mandates, because of the fact that nothing is free. Could you please admit that? Roll it.
When you mandate coverage, it's rolled directly on premiums. As in premiums increase, that's paying for these services. You cannot say that these are free of charge.
Again, consumers will not have a copay or deductible. And I think that...
Will you admit they will have a higher premium?
No, I do not. I think what a lot of actuaries will tell you is if you have preventive care and prevent a more costly hospital stay, cancer...
All right, I got it.
Down the line, that cost
we're just going to agree to disagree.
Lowers the premium, doesn't raise it.
It's like talking to the Republic of Korea or something. Last question.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
through the great works,
Mr. Chairman, you have to let we said in the,
I do not have to.
we said we were going to let the
gentleman
secretary
controls the
answer
time.
question.
If the Democrats want to yield some time,
Yeah, I know, but you have to leave her the opportunity to answer the
I
question.
do not
All
have
agreed
to allow her.
Yes, you did. We all agreed on that at the beginning. We were going to let the secretary answer the question.
Gentleman will suspend. The gentleman will suspend.
Now, Shimkus is also making a point there. Representative Shimkus is making a point to the Democrat who said, you got to let her finish. I'm so sick and ripping. I got to tell you, I can't watch these hearings. Because every time I do, I can watch sections of them, come back to them. But when I do, I see that people are deceiving us. And getting a notice, or knowing somebody who has, knowing that Jim Hoff lost his insurance, Gateway Pundit, check out the story, knowing this impacts our each and every one of us, and we get somebody who's trying to filibuster and lie, and somebody who's trying to keep them in check in the sense of holding them account for that. Oh, you've got to listen, and you got to let them finish their answer. Yeah, that works great in Obama presidential press conferences, 10-minute answers, wandering all over the place, not answering directly, not asking follow-ups. No, you have to go Brett Baer on them. You have to do it because you got to get an answer. I think of John McEnroe. Answer the question. That was just me acting like John McEnroe. That wasn't true anger. I let some of that out earlier today. I've gone through 3 TVs. I've lost 3 pairs of shoes. Actually, 3 shoes. I'm kidding, of course. It is frustrating. John Shimkus, full disclosure, I've met him. I've been at events where he's spoken. He's a good guy. I've interviewed him. I like him. But it should not matter if he's an R or a D or conservative. If you're listening to what just took place, you should be a fan of what he is trying to do, which is get to the truth. And you should look at the people who are trying to stop him from doing that as people obstructing you from getting to the truth. And that doesn't hurt you if you're a Democrat or a Republican American. It hurts you if you're an American, period. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. More on the flip side. Budget Deal Review. AFR Talk.